All right, guys, we're going to go over food labels really quick. Hopefully this won't take too long. Just some vocab to start off with, though. These will appear on your test, so I highly suggest you know them well, know how to differentiate. So the difference between hunger and appetite. So hunger is, you could probably think of things right now like what your body does physically, which is this physiological, is physically. What does your body do when you're hungry? Some people, their stomach growls. Other people might get kind of feel nauseous or get a headache or just get really tired, which getting tired makes sense because food equals energy. If you are feeding yourself, you're fueling yourself. You're giving yourself energy. So that's a physiological need for food. That should keep you from starvation, but some people ignore that. It might have happened to you before as well if you go so long without food that you just kind of lose that sense of hunger. That's not healthy at all because your body's gonna store whatever's inside, especially the fat, because it doesn't know when it's gonna get fed next. So not super healthy. Appetite is the psychological desire for food. Okay, so let's say here's an example. You go with your family, let's say to Olive Garden, because you guys love Olive Garden, and you pig out on all the pasta and breadsticks and salad and whatever. So you are not hungry when you leave Olive Garden. But let's say that you guys walk past a restaurant, let's say a restaurant that had just baked like cookies or brownies or something where you smell it and you're like, oh my goodness. You're not hungry, but your desire for food is there, right? A lot of people may lose their appetite if, let's say you're at a baseball game, you go and get your food, you sit down, and then someone in front of you throws up. Like a lot of people will lose their desire for food. Even though they're hungry, they still need that food. They lose that desire because of that, the psychological stuff going on, just like seeing someone throw up. Other people will be like, I paid lots of money for this. I'm not gonna let it go to waste, and they'll eat it. But hopefully you get the difference between hunger and appetite. Deficiency, the reason I'm bringing these up right now is because we're going to be talking about food labels, and there's different vitamins, minerals. If you're getting too little, then you'll be deficient. So when you don't have enough of a nutrient, and then toxicity is when you have too much of a nutrient. So those are some key terms you'll need to know. All right, so if you don't get enough of vitamin A, so this is not seen as much here, but it could be. If you're not getting enough vitamin A, then these things can happen. So vitamin A, first of all, helps with eyesight, healthy skin, bone development. I don't know about you, but this all sounds pretty important to me. If you've probably heard before, like eat your carrot, it's going to help with your eyesight. Okay, it's that keratin, the orange color of food. That's how you can kind of tell if something has vitamin A. So deficiency, kind of interesting. At night, you won't be able to see as well. And then toxicity. If you're getting too much, you're going to see this a lot. Dizziness and nausea with toxicity. Your body is going to say, whoa, there's too much of this in my body. I had a student one time share that she had eaten like the whole bottle of the Flintstone vitamins, and she definitely experienced the toxicity symptoms. So these are things that can happen if you're getting too much vitamin A. Okay, vitamin C. If you are deficient, if you're not getting enough vitamin C, scurvy is something that may happen. So these are some pictures of, you can't really see, I guess you can kind of see with the gums, but if they were bleeding, of course, you'd be able to see a little bit better. But spongy gums and then bleeding from the mucous membranes. And then if it's advanced, you may have open sores on the skin. And if it's advanced, your teeth may fall out. So vitamin C is going to help with amino acids. It helps with wounds healing, helps with your immune system, and then helps absorb iron. And then like I mentioned before, the nausea, the diarrhea. If you're getting too much in your body is going to want to get rid of it somehow. So you may have some stuff coming out both ends. Okay, calcium. Deficiency. So first of all, calcium, you were probably told from the youngest of ages, like drink your milk so you can have strong bones. Like, they weren't lying, your parents or whoever it was that told you that. It helps maintain healthy bones and teeth. It also helps with your muscles to help them function, but it also helps blood clot. So kind of a big deal. If you are deficient in calcium, you've probably heard the term osteoporosis. Just pretty much means weak and brittle bones. This down here is a picture of normal bone, like if you were to zoom in, and then you can see that it's kind of like, so poro, like the word poro, like right here, would mean like these holes. Muscle cramps, osteomalacia, I think is how that's said, soft bones. And then toxicity, if you're getting too much. It's going to start to deposit in the soft tissue, causing it to harden. So probably pretty dangerous. I don't know that I've seen too many people, or like at least people in my life, that have had too much. But I guess if you replace all of the beverages you drink with milk, then maybe you can get too much of it and you'll start to see those things happen. Iron helps with carrying the blood, or helps the blood carry oxygen, to the body. And then it helps your body produce energy, helps your immune system. If you're deficient in iron, you're going to feel fatigue. You're not going to be as energized as you should be. And then you'll experience hair loss and brittle nails. If you have too much iron, again, nausea, vomiting, and even liver failure. Fiber. Remember, fiber is not digested. It just kind of moves through your intestine to help keep particles and things out, help keep it clean, helps with digestion just in general. So if you are deficient, you're going to experience constipation. And then if you are not getting enough if you're getting too much, toxicity would mean with too much fiber, you're going to experience dehydration. So when reading a food label, I'm surprised at like how many of my students in my classes don't quite understand the food label. So if that's you, then pay attention. Hopefully this will help you understand a little bit better. So we're going to kind of start from the top, go to the bottom. Serving size right here, serving size 1 cup. It's going to tell you how much is a serving, which is what all these numbers down here are about. All of these numbers are based off of 1 cup. But if you look right here, that means that there are 2 cups in the serving, or in the package, because there are 2 servings per container. So you would just multiply those to tell you how much of something is in a container. Which actually brings up a good point. If you want to, let's say Halloween just passed. You may not be watching this at Halloween time, but Halloween just passed. Let's say that someone wanted to buy like 40 mini candy bars to pass out. So they could go down the candy aisle, pick out like the bag of mini Kit Kats or whatever, look at the serving size and servings per container and multiply that, and it will give you a rough estimate of how many candy bars are in that bag. So kind of cool if you want to know how much is in something, is in a container. You can use that. All right, so if you ate 2 cups of this food, how many servings did you eat? So 2 cups would be 2 servings. Hopefully you were able to get that. Calories. So right here, just how many calories are in a serving. So how many calories are in the whole package? See if you can do that math really quick. If you had the whole package of whatever this is, how many calories would you be consuming? You would be consuming 500. There's 2 servings in the container, and the serving size is 1 cup. So this is based off of 1 cup. So 500. Ooh, here's a good one. What would I do if I wanted to know what percentage of calories came from fat? 110 divided by 250. That will give you the percentage of calories that come from fat. So just divide that by that. Also, something to take note of and remember, because this will show up on your test, is that there are 9 calories per gram in fat and 4 calories per gram in carbs and protein. So really, if I were to just give you the amount of grams of all of these, you should be able to tell me how many calories a food item is. Okay, let's go with nutrients to limit. So these in yellow, these are things you're going to want to limit. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I think that it's a given that hopefully you understand that you want to limit fat. Now, granted, the best kind, because we do need fat for our bodies, the best kind to get is unsaturated. So definitely limit the trans fat, the saturated fat. And then sodium falls into that as well. Okay. This is kind of, we'll see if I can explain it. So basically, the companies, or let's just say, okay, you want to get 100% of vitamin C in a day. And so there is, based off of the amount of calories you need, your age, whatever, there's a certain amount that you need every day. And that has kind of been converted to like 100%, to percent daily values. So let's say that one of your food items you have has 18% vitamin C. Well, you're trying to get to 100% every day of these different nutrients. So you need 82% more to get to that 100%. If you were to have 2 servings of that, this is based off of a fat, but I'm using vitamin C. If you were to have 2 servings of whatever food that was that provided vitamin C, you get 36% of what you need and need 64% more. I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry if it doesn't. You might want to do a little more research on percent daily values if that does not make sense to you. If it does not make sense to you. Nutrients that you need are going to be just getting enough of these in this bluish color. And then I would even add protein. You need to make sure you're getting enough protein. Carbs, I mean, I feel like those are the easiest for people to get. So make sure that you're getting these light blue nutrients in your body. Footnote, this is going to be the same. So basically what this is telling you is that someone that's on a 2,000 calorie diet needs 65 grams total fat for the day, and they've broken that to 20 grams of saturated. Sodium, only 2,400 milligrams, total carbs, 300 grams dietary fiber. So I think you get it right there. So if someone is on a 2,000 calorie diet, they need that many of these nutrients if they're on a 2,500 calorie diet. And then of course it would just go up from there based off of what your calorie needs are. I think that we're just going to skip this. We already talked about. Okay, ingredients lists. This is kind of important. So in your food, if you look on the ingredients list, the thing that is listed first is what is in that food most. So it says, so like if I were to say it's listed in order of predominance by weight. So it's by weight. So basically whatever is in it the most is going to be listed first. So you really want to pay attention to what's listed first, because if it says high fructose corn syrup, then that's not a good healthy option. Not a good option at all. This one I find kind of interesting because it's a fiber 1 bar, but if you look over here, it's got 1 gram of fiber and it's got 8 grams of protein. So it's more of a protein bar than fiber, but whatever. Okay. So right here, caramel is the first thing listed. In the parentheses, that's what makes the caramel. Where does it end? Right here. All of this is what makes caramel. So if I were to ask you to tell me the first 3 things listed, you would say caramel, then you would skip to coating, and then skip to soy nuggets. Does that make sense? So the first thing listed is going to be what's in it in greatest amounts. So like for instance with bread, like you want to choose like whole grain instead of like enriched wheat flour, because whole grain, if that's first, that's going to be the healthier option. It hasn't been processed like the enriched wheat flour or the bleached flour or any of those terms. You really have to be cautious. Okay, that's it. Hopefully you have a better understanding of food labels. And if you need to rewatch this, I suggest you do, because you'll see some of these things on your test. Let me know if you have any questions.